Thank you. I'm Mr. Lehner, and welcome back to Mr. Lehner's Math Extravaganza. And in today's webisode, we're going to continue moving on with our investigation 3, but this time we're going to take a look at dividing decimals. I know everyone loves division. I know everyone loves decimals, so this is going to be a nice and fresh episode here, working with our division with decimals. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's look at our example problem with the road trip. It says, Mr. Lehner drove 335.6 miles in 6 hours on his spring break trip. How many miles per hour did he travel? So, maybe you've gone on vacation with your family. Nowadays, the nice things we have are GPS systems that kind of tell us, ETA or estimated time arrival. But you can also use your math knowledge to figure it out as well. Again, I talk about a calculator or even like a smartphone. If you have a smartphone or a cell phone with a calculator on it, you can figure out how many miles have you traveled in your trip, or will you travel? Well, I know that I'm going to drive, or that I drove 335.6 miles. I know that it took me 6 hours to get to my destination for my trip. I'm trying to find out how many miles per hour I traveled. So this is where we can use division. Now, when solving this problem, I'm going to take the miles that I drove, 335.6, and I'm going to divide it by the amount of time that it took, which is 6 hours. Again, if you've noticed, I've added in my units again. That's very important so you don't mix up what the numbers mean. I'm dividing the amount of miles that I went divided by the amount of time that it took me. And when I get my decimal answer, 59.333 repeating, I'm trying to figure out, well, what does that stand for? That's how many miles per hour that I would have driven. Now, we've talked a little bit about repeating decimals. So when you see the 33333 on your calculator or on your phone, a lot of times you'll see like a little bar. You can write it as 59.33 with the bar above it. That tells you that it's a repeating decimal. It's going to continue on and on and on forever. Now, if I was going to actually use a little bit of rounding in here, I can actually round this decimal to 59.3, I would say. Again, look to the number next to it in my decimal, and I would say that this would be 59.3 miles per hour. So what can I say about this? I could say that Mr. Lehner drives about 60 miles every hour that he is driving on his trip. So again, I drove 335.6 miles in 6 hours. I was finding out how long each hour I could drive. It's going to take me about 60 miles in each hour to drive. And again, we can talk about rate. That's a different question there. You can figure out with the change in speed, how can that affect how many miles you can go in an hour, but that's a different lesson for a different day. Car kind of looks nice up here. I kind of wish my car was as fast as that car. All right. And again, maybe next trip that you take with your parents, or if you're going on a vacation, maybe you can try that. Time it. See how long it took you to drive in the car. Find out how many miles you went. See if you can find out how many miles you would go on average per hour. That'd be an interesting thing for you to try. All right, next one. This is the one that you're going to try at home. Daniel filled up his gas tank for his motorbike. He filled up 5.5 gallons of gas, and his total cost was $21.34. How much money per gallon does Daniel pay? So again, make sure you have your calculator, smartphone out, ready to go, paper, pencil. Go ahead, pause the video, and we'll see what you come up with. All right, we're looking at this handy-dandy little motorbike here that Daniel has. Again, as you get a little bit older, you'll start to think about price per gallon and when you go to the gas station to fill up your tank. Right now, maybe not so much, but in the very near future, you're going to be behind the wheel driving. I know, scary thought. I was thinking the same thing. But I digress, we'll come back to the problem. So you fill up 5.5 gallons in your motorbike. You know that your total cost is $21.34. Well, how do I know what I'm trying to find? I'm trying to find the cost per gallon. So I'm going to start with my total. I paid $21.34. I have to divide that money up by 5.5 gallons because that's what I filled my gas tank with. So I'm trying to find price per gallon. I took the price divided by the gallons. So when I take 21.34 or $21.34 and divide it by 5.5 gallons, it's going to equal $3.88. Well, what does $3.88 stand for? That tells me it's going to cost Daniel $3.88 per gallon to fill up his tank. Now, we've talked a little bit about fact families, about checking our work. Does anyone out there know a way that I can check this problem to make sure that I have a correct answer? Anyone know? Yeah. I can use my fact families here. I can then take, since I know this is a division problem, in a division problem, the biggest number is going to come first. So I can multiply 3.88 times 5.5, which is going to give me 21.34. So again, just kind of using some of that other knowledge that you have inside those big brains you have out there. It's a way to double check the work to make sure that it makes sense, or even thinking of like estimation, which we've talked about. I could estimate this to about $4. Well, if $5 or 5 gallons times $4 would be about $20, is my estimation close? Yeah, so it's a reasonable answer. My answer would make sense. Again, these are just some key strategies to keep in mind as you work through your math problems. Thank you for tuning into Mr. Leonard's Math Extravaganza and Division Edition. And as always, we'll see you next time.